Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Run It Back, the show where we try to get things right the second time. In today's episode, we have a draft submitted by AGL member Nistar, a apparently abysmal draft that we need some help to see if we can get this one back on tracks. So says Nistar. So as we can see here, it's a best of one draft. Went 2 and 3 with it. We'll see what we can find. So maybe see if we can maybe be able to recuperate some of those gems. We'll dive into it now. Open up pack one, pick one. We have a huge mega bomb and Season of Weaving. Usually I'm pretty low on blue in this set, but there's a couple of cards that will get me into it, and this is certainly one of them. 6 mana, draw 5 cards is incredible. 6 mana, draw 2 cards and bounce all your opponent's stuff. That's really good. 6 mana, draw 1 card and make 2 tokens that are copies of an artifact or creature you control. That's super good, right? There's all kinds of different ways that this can go really well, but in general, this card super flexible, super good, wins lots of games. Bloomcreed Escort. I thought this card was going to be phenomenal, and it's turned out to be okay. I think it's because blue isn't as powerful, and so therefore it's like blue doesn't put as much pressure on things, so therefore like they're not using your removal spells and stuff, so therefore like you don't have the hexproof trick, and a lot of times you just sort of flash this thing out as a 2-1 flyer. But like it's still good if you can make it work. Bandit's Talent's incredible. Been down on Seaglaive Mentor, been down on Tidecaller Mentor, but both these are fine. Longstop Brawl is great. Warren Elder also great. Lots of good cards in this pack. Pack 1, pick 2. Okay, we took our Season of Loss, and now we see a Phineas Ace Archer, which is a very, very good rabbit card. But if you're not in rabbits, it's kind of actually a middling card. I'm taking a look at this Flame Cash Gecko. This is generally a good red card, whether you're in lizards or not. Even this Brambleguard Captain is fine. I'm not a big fan of either of these 2 blue cards. So I'd look at Nettleguard, which is fine. The Bonebind Orator, which is fine. 3-treat Root Weaver plays really well with the Season of Weaving. Also plays well in green and allows you to splash just about everything. And then a Longstock Brawl here as well. I think by taking Phineas here, you're saying, I don't even want to play this Season of Weaving. I just took it for the gems. And I kind of want to move on from there. I'd rather be in rabbits, and I want to go hard into green-white. Not only just green-white, but green-white rabbits. So this is a bit of a choice. I think is fine. I like the Flame Cash Gecko as more of the open choice. I know in theory that might put you in blue-red, which is technically the worst color pair, but just because it's the worst does not mean it can't win. So I would look at this one. It's mainly a free card. A lot of the times, opponents losing life happens all the time. You get your mana back, and then also prevents flooding in the mid to late game. So I probably take the Flame Cash Gecko here. Back one, pick 3. Okay, now that we've taken this Phineas Ace Archer. Okay, back up a little bit. Before we get there, had we taken this Flame Cash Gecko or in blue-red, we have this huge bomb in Alania Divergent Storm, which is very good, and copies all your spells by giving your opponent a card every time you want to copy a spell. So, like, that is something. But in the world we live in, we took this Phineas Ace Archer, and we got paid off again with a Harvestrite Host, which is a fantastic card. Really happy to see this one. This one looks good, and it plays better. Like, it looks very good, obviously just popping all your rabbits and drawing cards or whatever, but it plays so well. It's so easy to get 2 rabbits on the battlefield for 4 or more mana. Other than that, there's not a lot here. Valley Rally, I'm sort of low on. Thistledown Players is meh. These cards are bad. This card's okay. Sazcap's Brew is playable. The Sticky Tongue Sentinel is probably the next best card, and then maybe like a land. So we're sort of getting out while the getting's good here with Harvestrite Host in this pack. Pack 1, pick 4, we see a Repel Calamity. That's fantastic. If we were still in like the sort of blue-red deck, I see Mind Whisker, Playful Shove, Bellowing Crier. These are all fantastic cards. Even the Light Shell Duo is very good. So again, this seems to me like either A, white isn't really being opened, green really isn't being opened, or all the green and white cards have sort of are getting picked clean by pick 4. Like we are getting out before any of the good cards are gone. Pack 1, pick 5. This is really interesting. We see a Long River's Pull, which I'm sort of down on. I like Ruthless Negotiation. I like Nettleguard. I don't mind a Dire Downdraft. Druid of the Spade is very good. And we just taken 3 rabbit cards. And so what this tells me is that Nistar doesn't like Nettleguard, and I think I would disagree. Nettleguard is a good card. It is just a 3-1 that gets in and beats. If it happens to end up getting Valiant Trigger, fine. I don't really care about that, but it gets in and beats face, which is good early, and then also takes care of all the different talents. There's 10 talents, and probably 6 of them are like game-ending, and this takes care of all of them. God forbid other like artifacts or enchantments. There's all kinds of like artifact creatures or whatever, that kind of stuff. Also, I'd look at Druid of the Spade. Normally, I'm not huge on this card. But if you tell me I don't want Nettleguard, I think it's a bad card, I'm like, okay, that's fine. Druid of the Spade is perfectly playable in a Rabbits deck because Rabbits usually have tokens all over the place, and I would expect to get tokens for my Druid of the Spade. Now, this dire downdraft suggests to me that we want to still play this Season of Weaving, but we've just taken 3 essentially white cards with a splash for Phineas. And if we're doing that, then we're going to be playing blue-white Rabbits, because this cares about rabbits and this cares about rabbits. Now, blue-white is the birds archetype and cares a lot more about like playing flyers and encountering some spells and stuff while beating it with flyers. So taking this dire downdraft is better for when we're being attacked, or when things have attacked us. And so if I'm rabbits, I want to be the one attacking. It's less likely for my opponents to attack things. 4 mana for a dire downdraft just like isn't that good. So I think my first pick here would be Nettleguard. My second pick would be Druid of the Spade. Then I would look at this Fountainport Bell as a potential opportunity to splash the Phineas without actually taking the dire downdraft. This card just plays better in a control deck or a deck that's going to utilize their life total as a resource. And that is a good Season of Weaving deck, but Harvestrite Host, Phineas Ace Archer, and Season of Weaving don't really play well with this one. So we've got 2 decks going on at the same time. Pack 1, pick 6. Crumb and Get It is a perfectly fine card. I don't think it's that great in rabbits. It plays better in like red. Red-white. I think here we're probably looking at either Lilypad Mentor or Mind Spiral. Of note, had we just gone back and we started with like the Season of Weaving, we took this Flame Cash Gecko, we then probably take the Alania, which then moves us into like Playful Shove, maybe Mind Whisker, one of these 2 cards, into blue-red. Then the dire downdraft makes a lot of sense to me, and then we end up getting paid off with a Coruscation Mage and a Kindle Spark Duo, or even a Brazen Collector. These are all great sort of red cards, let alone in red-blue. Like, these really shine in red-blue. So I think our Pack 1 suggests we should be in Otters. And even though I don't usually like going into that deck, this is probably the time where I'm here for it. In Pack 1, pick 7, the things that I'm seeing that are really good are this Glide Dive Duo. This is a late pick for a Glide Dive Duo, as well as the Mudflat Village, which kind of suggests that black might be open. But over the last 3 packs, I haven't really seen anything in black that I'm thrilled with outside of this Ruthless Negotiation. So I don't know if black is open or if this pack was just heavy in black, which is very possible. I think realistically, I'm probably taking this Waterspout Warden because it's pretty easy to play rabbits that come into play. And if we pick up a couple blue frogs that work out that way, that works well. Lilypad Village is fine, but I don't see us playing too many birds, frogs, otters, or rats in blue-white after we've drafted these rabbits. So this tells me that we want to move into birds maybe, and we're going to go into blue-white. But then at that point, we don't have a single bird yet or any reason to play birds. So in this pack, as it sits, I'm probably taking Waterspout Warden. You could convince me to move into black with the Glide Dive Duo. You could also convince me to take this Corpseberry Cultivator, even though I'm not thrilled with that. Or even like Bumbleflower Sharepot. Overall, this pack is just sort of weak. Pack 1, pick 8, we see another Repel Calamity. That's a huge sign. This Longstock Brawl, also a huge sign. Taking either of those is good. Taking the white card, very reasonable. Pack 1, pick 9. We see a lot of the blue cards sort of wheeling. In fact, all of the blue cards from our first pick have wheeled, which also suggests that had we been sort of like in Otters, this would all be fine. Conduct Electricity is good. Plume Escort is good, both in Otters and in Birds. Pack 1, pick 10, we see a Longstock Brawl, and we are going to take it because this is sort of a late card. I think that's fine. If we were in blue-red still, we could take this Shore Up as a very good option there. Pack 1, pick 11, we see a couple of cards that are like not terribly good. I don't really ever want to play this rat, but these red cards aren't in our deck. Pack 1, pick 12, we get a Light Shell Duo. This is a great card. I'm a big fan of both rats and otters and pretty much everything, so happy to see this one play. And then Pack 1, pick 13, we see Sazakap's Brew, which sort of plays well as well, looking into that blue-red deck that we kind of talked about. Pack 2, pick 1. We see a couple of really powerful like cards here in Savor, which is great. Galewind Moose. These are great cards that we're going to have to pass up, which is fine. Splashing Lasher is good. This plays better in more of an aggressive style deck, but I'm not thrilled with it. But I don't think you're passing it. The only thing I'm thinking of is if we want to stay open with this Fabled Passage, but that doesn't really have a whole lot of impact on our deck, and we need good stuff. So Splash Slash is fine. I don't hate that. Pack 2, pick 2, a Brightblade Stoat. This is a really good card. Really happy to see that. I see a Sonar Strike, but I definitely want to get some creatures moving. Blacksmith's Talent, also fantastic card, as well as Pearl of Wisdom. These would have played well in that Otters deck that we might have built. Pack 2, pick 3. Oh, we are all over the place here now with a Lily Splash Mentor. So this card plays really well, and it's very, very good. And don't get me wrong, it's a good card. But if we take a look at the cards in our deck that we're going to end up getting with it, sure, we can get a Scry too if we bounce our 4-drop, or our Splash Slasher gets another stun counter on something. I don't know. There's just not a whole lot going on here. I guess we could blink this twice for to draw a card, but I don't know. It's a little small ball in my opinion, but I guess we're already sort of splashing greens, so we can pick this up and see what happens out of it. Pack 2, pick 4. We see a Caretaker's Talent. Now this card is also very good, and a very good card to build around. We don't really have any tokens though. Right? Do we have a single token in the entire deck? Splash Slasher brings us a token. And that's it. So for picking 3 white cards that all care about rabbits early on in the draft, we have not really seen a whole lot of that. Saver being here late is a big deal. So maybe this also could have been like a blue-black seat with that. We've seen 2 Savers now and the Tidecaller Mentor. A couple of options there. Pack 2, pick 5. We see a Pawn Prophet. So now, okay. That plays well with things like the Lily Splash Mentor. But it doesn't really play well with things like the Caretaker's Talent that we just got. So we're definitely drafting 2 decks here. Warren Elder's a perfectly fine card. Love to see that one. But like we've just taken a green card, a blue-green card, and now we're back on white. So it just seems that Nistar is like specifically resigned to going 3 full colors and hasn't taken any fixing yet either, which is a little bit tough. I think at some point you have to either drop the white or drop the green. It seems like we haven't done either quite yet. Pack 2, pick 7. We see a Jolly Gerbils, which is great. Not too many gifts to be given out here, but even just 2 mana 2/3 is fantastic. I've been a big fan of Splash Portal. I think this plays really well in Frogs. I also think it plays well in Otters. So if we were in the Otters deck, like we kind of originally talked about, this could have certainly played well there. Pack 2, pick 8. A Carrot Cake being here is a big sign. So we're kind of like Rabbit Frogs. Frabbits, if you will. Pack 2, pick 9. I don't think we're playing this Repel Calamity. I know it's a good card. I know it kills lots of things, but we already have 2, and we need creatures. Not only do we need creatures, we need fixing. And this 3-tree Root Weaver is just sort of sitting right here. So I think this is definitely the pick here. I think you're going to just rot with some of these in your hand while you get beat down by lizards or mice at some point. It's a good card, but I don't think we need 3 of them in this deck. That's sort of lacking at the moment. Back to pick 10. Okay. Here's another Repel Calamity, which, again, is good. But, you know, in hindsight as well, this certainly allows you to take 3-tree Root because you're not playing 4 of these things. Pack 2, pick 11. We see a Bellowing Crier. Yeah, I do kind of like a Gossip's Talent at this point as well, but Bellowing Crier is definitely needed. Sure, Tangle Tumbler and a Veteran Guard Mouse. We might play that at this moment. Pack 3, pick 1. Seems that Nistar is feeling the need for fixing, and we're taking a 3-tree mascot to help. I mean, if you're in blue, you're probably taking this thing, right? Like, if you're in blue, you should be taking this because it makes all your instants. It makes all your islands or all your lands into islands to help for fixing it on top of other things. Island in addition to its other type, and then you get to cast stuff for free or cheap, like Season of Weaving. I don't know. I feel like this thing's got to be in there. Okay, well, if there's a single card that can help tie everything together, it is Helga, Skittish Seer. We're already in Bant heavily, so might as well take this thing. It does help fix. Only to cast creature spells with mana 4 or greater, or creature spells with X in their mana cost. So we have a couple of those. That can definitely work. Yeah, very interesting. Pack 3, pick 3. A Dazzling Denial? I don't think this is the card, right? We don't have any birds. I don't want a Quench. I'd rather have a Moose. Imagine if we have a Helga in here and then we can end up casting our Moose. Moose is great. Even Junkblade Bruiser is fine, but nothing too, Splash Portal's also fine, just as to cycle. Yeah, I mean, like, if we're playing 4 mana plus creatures, like, creature spell, 4 creator, draw a card, gain a life, put a 1/1 counter on this thing. We should be moosing here, brother. Pack 3, pick 4. We take a bird, even though we don't have that many other birds. I mean, I guess birds kind of help out with things when you're you got a bunch of ground creatures, but I think here we're probably into this Rust Shield Rampager. We've established that we are fully 3 colors, so I'm on green cards, and this one is the best card in the pack, I think. Another Lily Pad Mentor, so let's go ahead and pick that up. That's actually really good now with Helga and other things, so I can't fault this pick. This looks really good. Haven is fine. I do think a Heaped Harvest is probably playing better than a lot of these other 3s and things that we have, so I would seriously consider a Heaped Harvest in this moment, but Uncharted Haven and Heaped Harvest function very similarly. 2 Intrepid Rabbits, so let's pick one of those up. That's fine. I think that's a great card. Dazzling Denial is not where we want to be. I don't really want to be playing this card. I'd much rather have a Polywallop, which at this moment probably is a 2 or 3 mana card, considering that we have Helga, 2 Lily Splash Mentors, the Splashing Lasher can count for 2. You get the 3-tree mascot, and maybe a Bellowing Cry or so. So this is probably a 2 mana spell at this moment, and 2 mana punch for double power is very good. Paw Patch Formation is fine. I might actually suggest the Sunshower Druid here because we've got a bit of a mess in our hands, and we need to end up stalling out the board. So even if we play this on like turn 2 or 3, like it's still very good, and then eventually it blinks a whole bunch of times with your Lily Pad Mentor, putting 1/1 counters on your entire board. So I think Sunshower Druid is probably where I'm at here. Finch Formation is fine. I think it's probably Longstock Brawl. Like, we need all of the power we can get. We're not playing these Dazzling Denials. So, like, let's just play the Longstock Brawl. Mind Drill is Salient, sure. Barkform Harvester, I don't think this is ever getting played. And I do think Rust Shield Rampager should be played because Helga plays with it well. So I probably am playing this. And another Light Shell Duo, which is great. Whew. Okay, taking a look at the deck. I see we did not play the green cards, and I think that that's a mistake. We should be playing these cards because without it, we're just a pretty anemic, not bird deck. This card should get in here as well. Both these Dazzling Denials are probably out. I mean, we were playing things like Caretaker's Talent, Harvestrite Host, Warren Elder, like these rabbit cards in a deck where we're not even playing like really that many rabbits or tokens. Without these cards I just placed in, Caretaker's Talent has 1, 2, 3, I guess. I never really offspring this thing, but I suppose let's call it 3, 4, 5. We got 5 cards for Caretaker's Talent. I don't think that's enough. So we definitely need to be playing something other than Caretaker's Talent here. Now, with Lily Splash Mentor, yeah, none of these things, these are all just offspring cards. I don't think this is a Caretaker's Talent deck. I like the pick at the time. I think it was probably good, but I just don't think things worked out for us. So let's put these things back. These green cards should be in here, especially because Helga also helps you fix if you need it for like double green. And then that means you want this 3-tree mascot in and the Haven, probably over just like, I don't know, an island probably. And some of the cards that we can take out, I actually don't really hate too many of these creatures. I think we're probably fine there. Some of the non-creatures I think we don't need. We don't need 3 Repel Calamities. This Dire Downdraft is probably not necessary. And then like the Caretaker's Talent probably doesn't end up getting there. So this would be the deck I would play as it was drafted. If you gave me this pool and say, hey, I drafted this, it felt really uncomfortable the whole time. Like, this is where I would end up. And then obviously we would need some forests. Like, we would need like probably an extra forest and take out a plains for that. So that way we've got 2 land sources plus, no, we need more than this. We need probably 4 total sources. So, you're playing something that certainly isn't as fun as far as mana base is concerned. Like, you've got to be a little responsible for that, but you've got 4 land sources of green plus the 3-tree mascot to help out there. Yeah. Having seen the draft, it's not really terribly surprising we've got 2 wins out of it, just because we didn't really commit anywhere. We were trying to do things sort of in the wrong colors. We got paired off with our mythic. That was right away. And like, I don't hate moving into Harvestite Host, into Repel Calamity, into Phineas. Like, those as picks 2, 3, 4 is fine. But like, trying to hold on to blue while taking a bunch of rabbit cards, like, just isn't where you want to be. Like, if you want to move into rabbits, move. But don't straddle the line, because blue-white rabbits is not really a deck. Right, and then eventually we saw Lily Splash Mentor, which is like a frog, and that's also fine, because then you could play like green-based rabbits. Like, if you played a bunch of green rabbits and then played like some of these white cards, like Phineas, Harvestite Host, Intrepid Rabbit, that's fine. And you play a couple blue cards like Lily Mentor, so that way you can continuously blink out your rabbits. Like, that's also good. But we're kind of like a blue-white based deck, playing some rabbits and I don't even know, like 2 or 3 birds. I think we've got 2 birds in the deck. So, yeah, bit of a mess, but that's okay. This happens to all of us. It's a great lesson. It was a great draft to like consider. I think in my seat, I probably would have been in either blue-red or blue-black, seeing as we want to play our Season of Weaving, obviously, and then we saw like some good red cards. And hopefully that would have gotten there. I can't really say it did or not, but thanks so much for the brain exercise. This was a great submission. Great submission. If you want to have your draft reviewed on Run It Back, feel free to send me an email at runitbackmtg@gmail.com or send me a link in Discord with the 17 lands data. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.